I find it relatively difficult to cover a lot of the news around Payday 3 at the moment because it feels like I'm either beating a dead horse or trying to will a decent update into existence. The dev blogs, for example, feel as if they exist as much to tick employee metric boxes as they do to actually inform the community about the progress of Operation Meditbag. The company has become so insular in recent months that we never seem to get an honest appraisal of the timeline for updates. If the blogs simply discuss what's being worked on this week and how far along the production cycle key features are, I think it would do a lot more for community peace of mind. Instead, these sanitized, overly wordy presentations don't do a whole lot for me, and I can't really stand to comb through them week by week, especially when they're not directly related to some gameplay change I can actually wade in on. But with today's dev update number 4, we have learned that the next patch will be releasing within the next week or so, landing between the end of April and start of May. That's something I can sink my teeth into, and we've also learned what exactly is going to be in it, so I might as well preempt its launch and share my initial thoughts. Update 6 looks to finally start tackling some of the larger Operation Meditbag promises, which is a nice step in the right direction, although ultimately, I think it's a hard sell for most players who'll be desperate to see some evidence of new content before loading the game up again. I think my concern is that every update seems to be having an increasingly limited ripple effect on the Payday 3 player count. It's as if franchise fatigue has really set in now, and people are increasingly less interested in loading up the game to see their entire builds reset, no new heists to try out, and little more than features that are industry standard in their game at last. I remain skeptical as to the future of Payday 3 to be honest, but I will always tackle the content in these updates earnestly and to the best of my ability. Anyway, this dev update is predominantly focused around Quickplay. Now you can simply select a difficulty and the game will automatically matchmake with players seeking the same level of challenge, assumedly on a random heist. I don't actually know what happens if everyone searches for Quickplay at the same time, because assumedly no one would have a heist lobby open then, but I'm sure they will have thought of that. Remember though, this is version 1 of Quickplay, so it's effectively filterless, meaning you can just as easily load into a random stealth lobby when you want to go loud, and vice versa. Also, we don't know how it's going to handle cross-region matchmaking. Based on how Payday 3's base game matchmaking has worked in the past, it's completely possible that it still won't automatically find you lobbies with West Coast players if you're on the East Coast of the US, and God help you if you fall into the dreaded Asia region. I hear that place is a ghost town. It's a band-aid solution at best and pales in comparison to the addition of an actual server browser, but I still can't deny it's a damn sight better than picking a random heist on a random difficulty and effectively praying to get into a populated lobby. How Starbreeze ever thought that would work, I will simply never know. However, I do think it's my duty at this stage in the video to point you in the direction of HW12 Dev's Payday 3 server browser mod. It's experimental and still has issues, but somehow a member of the modding community has found and implemented a functional solution to the matchmaking problem before the actual dev team has. Of course, it's easy to be perplexed as to how a professional games development team have failed to implement this before a single dedicated modder, but I prefer to focus on just how impressive an accomplishment this is. I don't know if we're meant to be endorsing this sort of thing as Starbreeze partners, but I'm a strong believer that if a mod makes the game experience better, it should be highlighted. So if you're interested, give it a download from the link in the description. It's been 4 months worth of work as I understand, so the creator deserves all the plaudits they'll rightly receive. Back onto the update, alongside Quickplay, post-game partying up is now a possibility in this 4-player cooperative game with a strong focus on team play and building up relationships. 7 months is far too long to go without addressing this feature, but we're here now. As of update 6, you'll be able to stay on in the group you last heisted with and hit the full 11 heist gauntlet if you see fit. My favourite part of this one is that in the dev blog, they highlighted this key change using the same sad single-player Payday 3 front lobby of golden shot gameplay that I feel we've seen dozens of times before. When I'm working on a Payday 3 video, I at least make sure to play a heist from start to finish, not just record the first 2 minutes of it and call it a day. It's fairly telling when the internal crew don't seem to be willing to play much of their own game at the moment. A skip mission intro feature is also coming in the next update, something else that's been modded into the game as early as week 1, but is now a fully implemented feature for all to enjoy. It works as you'd expect, no more 8 seconds of wasted time every restart, but if a single Payday fan loads up this update just to test the mission intro skip functionality, it will be too many. Finally, in terms of actual gameplay affecting content coming in the update, we have the shot grenade, which we saw previously showcased in a Friday dev blog. As I said at the time, these look neat but utterly redundant when the flashbangs are so strong and the game is so bloody easy. The throwable itself functions in a slightly unique way in that it sits where it lands and emits multiple pulses of electricity, stunning any cop within the radius for a short window that is reset with every repeated shock. The area of effect can also be expanded as all humans conduct the shot grenades, and will pass on the stun to other nearby cops, acting as a sort of chain lightning effect. The stun won't be as universally powerful as that produced by flashbangs, but it will offer more persistent area denial similar to the Molotov in Payday 2. On top of that, despite dealing 0 damage to most cops, it one-shots tasers by overloading their battery packs as well as shields, who conduct the electricity better than most. This is exceptionally cool, if a little random and situational, although I do think it's a smart move to have a throwable weapon that acts as a built-in counter to shields, as they naturally counter most other throwables in the game. So if shields are a real problem for your build, maybe I can see the shot grenade getting a little bit of use and finding a niche. If nothing else, it'll be fun for a challenge run. You seem to be able to carry 3 of these as standard, meaning you can bring up to 5 in your inventory with the right build, and it's worth noting they don't instantly kill shields or tasers upon conduction, so you can still waste ammo into them by accident. I believe the context around the addition of this is what's most important in how it's appraised. If it came on day 10 of an incredible crime fest campaign with multiple new heists, weapons and narrative twists, I think we'd all go, yeah, that's pretty cool, but it doesn't. It's basically the flagship content drop of this update, so it has to be evaluated as if it's what's going to bring players back into the game, which it most certainly is not capable of doing. Looks like we'll be waiting until the boys in blue to really have something new to play around with. Anyway, the dev update video rounded off with a mention of bug and crash fixes, which is always fine by me. Again, I think most studios tend to fix problematic bugs in the background and shove them at the back of patch notes to inform all of those potentially affected. Payday 3 has tended to shout from the rooftops about its bug fixes like they're somehow gonna save the game, so I'll always take this with a pinch of salt, although it will be nice to crash less on stream. So what's the overall appraisal? I honestly find it hard to get overly excited about the bare minimum finally taking place. We knew about almost all of these additions prior to the dev update, although I'm absolutely fine with there being more fixed sources for this information, as I'm not sure an offhanded comment within a Heist with Almir stream really does the job sufficiently. But even so, the joy's just sort of gone in these dev updates for me. I remember back in the day when we'd get dev insight into Crime Fest updates, and it always just seemed like they had so much to show and for us to be excited for. Now, the production value on these videos is higher, but it's just poor Elizabeth trying to drum up some enthusiasm around features which have been notable in their absence, not great innovations of the genre. So as ever, the jury's out until we get our hands on Update 6. Partners have yet to be able to test it, so it could be full of surprises that just haven't been mentioned here. I doubt it, but I do know it's going to be a very busy few months for Starbreeze if they're going to get all 3 legally bound DLC releases out over the next 4 or so months. Good luck to the guys, and thank you so much for watching today's video. Payday 3 is coming soon, so stay tuned on the channel for that, and I'll see you all in the next one. A huge thank you to my dedicated Patreon backers. If you want to join this crew in going infamous, check out the link below and pledge as little as $2 to see your name in the credits, or get 24-hour early access to future videos and vote on upcoming content. Take care, I'll see you all soon.